You saw the title. I'm coloring my hair for the first time in almost 4 years. I'm excited. I'm kind of scared because I don't want it to look stupid, but I'm mostly excited. About 4 years ago, maybe a little bit more, I started with the game plan of letting my grays grow in. And I want to talk about that a little bit as we're processing this. I want to talk about why I decided to embrace my gray hair, my thoughts on it, and even some styling tips. And that's something that I will include towards the end of this video. We're gonna get the color on my hair, we will chat, and then we will come back for styling, and I will give you some gray hair styling techniques, and then we will get some final results that hopefully look cute and not dumb. Hair is obviously not the darkest, but it's not the lightest. So what I'm hoping and kind of looking forward to is that all of my little gray babies will just absorb this color. And I'll get like fun, really vibrant pops amongst some like subtle. So I bought, not sponsored, although if I get some good results, Overtone, let's figure it out. I really want a pastel-ish color as much as possible. I know, I get it, I have brown hair, but as much as possible. So I'm going to mix the two of these. So there's no way to know what can happen. So I got the purple for brown hair and the rose gold for brown hair. I have read a ton. I read a ton of reviews. Then I dug further into their blogs and got some ratio information, and it's actually pretty common to mix these, and you can really get some cool color combos. So downside for those of you that are following the curly girl method to a T, this is not curly girl friendly. It does have amidimethicone in it, but if you think about it, amidimethicone just goes in to your hair at the damaged places, not everywhere. So is it really building things up? Like, I don't know. Amidimethicone is one. I pretty much always stay away from dimethicone. Amidimethicone, I'll fucks with. They are vegan and cruelty-free, free of sulfates, parabens, ammonia, and suitable for all hair types. The directions advise to use gloves, apply to dry hair, wait 10 to 15 minutes, rinse clean, and then use weekly to refresh the color. I washed my hair early, let it air dry completely. There's no leave-in anything in this. And now we're gonna dive in. First and foremost, I would like to protect myself. So I'm using a trash bag because my Dollar Tree across the street didn't have a cape on my head hole so I don't suffocate. Like I want to be in a Missy Elliott video. These aren't the colors that I'm going to be using, but this is the idea. I'm going to be using 3 parts of the rose gold to 1 part of the purple. And I'm just going to be scooping them with a spoon into my handy dandy bowl. That is purple. Oh, I'm so glad I decided to mix them. Now for the rose gold. Oh yeah, that's pink. That's pink. I have 2 spoons because I didn't think about where I could put the other. And now we are going to mix. I am not really going to do this strategically. I'm just going to apply their deep conditioners. Just is what it is. I am going to avoid my root. I do want it to be a little bit more of a fade and like down towards my ends. So I'm probably going to stick to applying to about here-ish. With the exception of up front. Literally scooping it with my hands. Okay, okay. I can't even see myself that well, and it's kind of also making me a little bit scared. That's what it is. Okay. That's so crazy. I didn't think I'd ever do that again. I got my first gray when I was maybe, I was like 17, 18 years old. And I knew I was going to get them. Both of my parents grayed early. So I knew it was coming. I keep getting this on myself. I knew it was coming. And when I saw it, I just ripped it out. I was kind of embarrassed by it. A lot of the stereotypes around gray hair, like being unattractive or that you're old or I don't know, just not beautiful, right? And so that was the aspect of it, like, that I was just kind of like, oh, okay, it's just one more thing. Okay, like I can't have gray and curly hair. And especially at the time, I don't know that I knew anyone that was wearing their hair curly. So it was a very like, you know, you would be all of the things and I wasn't ready to be all of those things. So I just plucked them, and I plucked them for years. And then at some point, I started coloring them. So we're gonna let this sit for about 10 minutes. I literally did like all of the things to try and protect myself. And I failed. And even still when I was like coloring, I was still the type that would let my hair grow out this much before I would do my roots again. So it was like this weird thing of like feeling kind of societally obligated to color my hair, like, because it was this idea that it was like not beautiful, right? Like curly hair wasn't beautiful. Gray hair wasn't beautiful. I had this big nose that at some point I had to embrace, and it wasn't beautiful. And so it just felt like another thing that like made me not beautiful. That was some of the reason, like if I wanted to look my best or if I wanted to whatever, like that was the expectation of like, okay, I would go get my hair done. At some point it started kind of shifting. Like I had embraced my body fully, my nose, my hair. I loved my curls at this point. And I remember at some point kind of thinking, what am I keeping up with my hair for? I'm spending money that I don't really care about. Like these grays don't even bother me that much, so why am I doing it? And I remember asking my ex, kind of out of fear, but also in a regard of like looking for validation and just saying, hey, what if I went gray? Like, would you still love me kind of thing? And I remember like he kind of joked about it, but it was essentially like the jive of like, no, you better continue to color your hair. And so I was just like, all right, well, I'll just keep up with my hair. So I would do it, but I was always kind of like shoving it to the man at the same time, like letting my my roots grow out this much before coloring or doing anything. And I allowed it because I was raised in this society. I was raised Mormon. I think society in general kind of subscribes to this idea that the value of a woman is in her body and in her appearance and what she brings through that. Jump forward to now. I've left my ex. I was in this new relationship, and then shortly after I did some like irreversible bleach damage to my hair. And at that point there was kind of no, like, as my hair slowly but surely broke off following that bleach damage, there was no denying that like these chemical processes were continuing to kind of ruin my hair. And so I made a decision that I just wanted to go natural. I just wanted to not worry about this. I didn't want to run into this issue again. I didn't want to do that kind of chemical damage to my hair because my grays are kind of speckled throughout. I didn't have any harsh lines I was going to have to worry about. And I was already like used to letting my roots grow out. So I was just like, screw it, I'm going to go cold turkey. The hardest part was getting past that part where I would have normally gone to color. So once it got past maybe the first like 2-3 inches, I didn't have an issue. Like the color started to fade and blend enough that it wasn't a big issue. Now at this point, I really love them. Like I've been craving putting color in my hair to do something fun and do something different. And I've literally been hesitant because it's like it took me so much to accept this side of myself, to accept myself naturally and like love it and then navigate it on top of that too, because styling like gray hair can kind of be a pain in the ass when you don't know what the hell you're doing. I had to think about it. I've been thinking about this for a couple months of, am I gonna put color in my hair? And then when I realized it was like literally like a deep conditioner that I could wash out of my hair, I was just like, okay. I think it's important to see both sides of it. I think it's important to see the beauty in wearing them naturally. And I also think it's important to be able to try and explore new things and have fun with your hair. And that's what I'm doing right now. I've literally done nothing to my hair in 4 years other than cut it. And now it's finally growing the hell out and I want some festive color. So, and it's 2020, let's do it. All right, it's time to rinse it out. I don't have any stylers in my hair. Oh my goodness, look how purple that is. Oh, this is fun. Okay. Most of you know that I style my hair damp. Damp styling OG. Thank you. Thank you. But here's the thing. The only area of my hair that likes to be on the wetter side is this area, and it is the area with my grays. So number one gray hair styling tip is moisture, moisture, moisture. Let my hair get to the point where the bottom layer of my hair is ready, like the bottom sections of my hair are ready for product, and then I just reapply a little bit of water up here to style, and it just ends up being like the perfect balance for both. This is just a Flairosol sprayer. You can find them on Amazon. I'll have it linked below. I'm gonna use the Bouncecurl Avocado and Rose Oil Clump and Define Cream. So just like to tap my fingers in, and I am going to flip over, so I'm gonna get on my knees. I'm gonna flip, smooth over, grab it just like a ponytail. Another gray hair hack, and I actually learned this from Penny Tovar. She used to go by Curly Penny, is to really get her ends defined, she smooths over the bottom. And I found that this actually worked amazing for my grays. I didn't really need it for the rest of my hair, but just with the grays, because they are more coarse. And then like if you can see, for example, like here's a gray hair. Hopefully you can see that. But it's a gray hair that it's a new growth. It's only about halfway down the length and it's sticking out. And so then this smoothing motion helps keep them all into the curl. Bouncecurl Light Cream Gel. I'm gonna do the same thing. Just grab, doesn't even have to be individual curls, just the clumps. And we are going to scrunch. Another hack that I found for gray hair is Olaplex. Olaplex, Olaplex, Olaplex. I don't know what it is with the gray hair because typically it rebuilds broken disulfide bonds. It really helps smooth and define the gray curls. I will link a tutorial down below. I'm going to air dry and then I'll probably diffuse a little bit the last few minutes, and I will check back in with final results, and I will wrap up with some tips for learning to love your grays, embrace your grays, and a couple cool hacks for if and when you decide to grow it out. Yay! It's way more purple than I expected. I mean, look at that. So this area where my grays are at, it's purple. It's obvious. But what I'm kind of hoping is that with like one wash, it will get a little bit more like of that pastel lavender. I think it's the right tone. I just want it to be a slight bit more faded. So, but I think for like first try, I think it did really good. Overall, as far as like the overtone is concerned, I think it's a go. My hair feels really soft. It felt soft even before I put stylers in. I think it's fairly easy to apply. I would recommend getting your own gloves. The gloves are plant-based, latex-free, as well as disposable, but I just feel like they were way too loose and kind of made everything a little bit of a mess. I would highly recommend getting a towel or a cape. Don't use a trash bag. If you want updates on my color, that kind of thing, make sure you're following me on Instagram. I'll share stories and updates and stuff there. That link will be in the description. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Now that I have some fun new color on my gray strands, I think one of the biggest things that people struggle with when it comes to gray hair is breaking down the inner dialogue that tells us that there is something wrong with gray hair, and taking it a step beyond yourself and remembering that those beauty standards, they are unrealistic, they're unattainable, and in so many aspects, our beauty standards are racist crocks of shit, and we're not going to subscribe to that anymore. It's also important to remember that there's no right or wrong. Whether you do or you don't, it's entirely up to you. But if it's something that you have been toying with, or something that you are doing because you do not feel worthy as is. Here's my gentle, loving reminder that you are, and you don't have to keep up with anything that doesn't bring you joy. And if coloring your hair, coloring your grays is not bringing you joy, it's time to dump it. If you're ready to take that plunge, but you're not quite ready to jump into it cold turkey, just gonna let your hair grow out, evaluate how much grays you have and where they're located. You can also start with a series of like highlights or lowlights. Work with your stylist, kind of figure out placement, that kind of thing, so that eventually as your hair grows, it all melts into your natural hair. Lorraine Massey actually even recommends letting like one strand grow in first, so like one little section, and seeing the texture, getting used to the texture, seeing how it jives with your hair, exploring with styling it, that kind of thing, learning to love it, and then letting the rest of your hair grow in. She also recommended with some of her clients to let the bottom gray come in first, and then eventually working on the top with like highlights, lowlights, that kind of thing. Something I think that is also really exciting to remember if you are embracing your curls along with your grays is that the unique texture is already there. So it kind of just makes what you already have a little bit more funky and fun, and can give it a totally different look. I also think it is super important to pick a loving name. This actually helped me a lot. I call my gray hairs my gray babies. I've been calling them that for a while, and it just really came from this place of love and acceptance. And so pick a name that you love that doesn't have a negative stereotype attached to it, and something that makes you feel good. And it is so ridiculously important to focus on your why. What is your motivation for growing in and embracing your gray strands? And needs to be said, as just as I demonstrated today, you can love those grays and you can also have some fun. All right, so that is it for this video. Yay, for back to tutorials. What? So I would love to know, what do you all think about the color? Would you have done more purple, more of the rose gold? Is this something that you're considering? Do you embrace your gray hair? Do you want to see more gray hair content? Let me know down in the comments. I'm so excited to have those conversations with all of you. If you have not already slammed that subscribe button, what are you waiting for? Go slam that subscribe button, hit that bell while you're at it to turn on post notifications so you do not miss a thing. And I will see you next time. Bye!